Dear Carrie, hello, I hope you are well. First off, huge congratulations. We've seen Heather's. You were incredible, as I knew you would be. I wanted to be on there with you. You just kicked butt and it was incredible. So congratulations. Might try and pop in again before the end of the run. Oh! This week I wanted to talk to you about Avon and my new role with them. So I've become Avon's representative ambassador. So it's not about the products, it's more me being there for the reps and working out what it means to be a rep. An Avon lady and man, there are men, in 2018, because obviously the landscape is changing. I've been researching into the history of Avon, and it started in like the 1800s. Crazy. And obviously in the digital age things have changed, so I've been brought on to kind of see if I can give any words of wisdom about what it is to be online and to take what you're doing offline online, and to help the reps kind of growing that area and grow their business. I have been an Avon rep now for 50 days, and I have to say that before actually working with the brand, I had good feelings about Avon. I definitely had good feelings, but it was very much that Avon lady who, you know, my mum used to go out with her mates and they used to have a little Avon party, and they all used to come back with their goodie bags I think they'd bought, or they'd ordered stuff and they'd get it, you know, a week later or whatever. So I always have known of Avon, but what's interesting now is seeing that brand grow in the space and seeing what that has become. So one of my first tasks, kind of like the launch day of me becoming the representative ambassador, which is very difficult to say, we had a panel chat, and the topic of conversation was smarter beauty. Their focus is smarter beauty, and it was just really interesting seeing how important it really is that a brand moves forward and that is taken online, which is interesting for me because I'm there to all, you know, shout out about all things digital, but how important it is not to become an online brochure and forget everything that makes Avon special. So for me, I was there going, but be that face to face, be that person, because I just think it's so important. It is what makes the brand so special, and it's all about keeping that personal touch, because we're all so different, and that's what, you know, the world online lets us be. It lets us all be individuals. So it's about being that, rather than feeling like, you know, just getting loads of Avon stuff chucked at you all the time, which is, you know, not a bad thing, but making it personal, I think, is what gets people engaged and gets people thinking. What I do find really interesting is that Avon could have literally just opened a store online and got rid of the reps. But they haven't, because they realise how important those reps are in what they do. So I love the fact that they haven't done that and that they are keeping that personal touch. And it was really fascinating. So at that event, I had women who were younger, women and men who were younger, who kind of were a bit more savvy with what's going on online, and people that were older. And I think it's not about kind of going, well, we're done with the face-to-face. It's about going, how can we grow as a business? And that's what each individual rep is. They are all businesses, and that's what I think the drawing is. Because while I was there, I got to meet people and I got to understand what it was that drew them to Avon. And I met people that have done so well from the brand as well. They are their own individual businesses, they get their own you know, customers, and it's really fascinating. And I feel like there's such a great community because everyone has their area they kind of look after. No one kind of feels like they are you know, that people are intruding on their customers. You know, I think everyone's happy to share tips and to see what works, because if it works for that person, it might work for you, and maybe I'll take what you do but adapt it slightly for my clientele, because that might be a bit better. And I find that really fascinating actually to watch, and it felt like a real sense of community. So at the event I met different reps, and it was really interesting for me to see why people became reps in the first place. And we're talking about people that have been reps for sort of 24 years. So there was one woman that I met who told me that she had cancer 24 years ago, and while she was sort of recovering from that, she found out that her husband was having an affair, and you know, quite traumatic life experiences right there. And Avon enabled her to have that financial stability in a flexible way that helped her get out of that situation. And you know what, I think speaking to her that day, I was kind of like, well, maybe that's just you. And then literally another person would come up and tell me why they had become a rep, and the fact that, you know, it's enabled them to go on holidays that they wouldn't have been able to go on otherwise. And I just thought it's amazing actually that people are being given financial stability in a way that works for them, and that's where the smarter beauty comes from as well. It's a way that works for them, whether it's part-time, full-time. You can work it completely around your family, and just the community that it brings, not just between the reps actually, I think between the rep and the customers. I think that's a hugely important part of why the reps are successful, and I really feel that shouldn't be lost with things sort of slowly moving online. And it hasn't actually. I met one girl who does Facebook Lives, so she has like an Avon party, I guess, but live, and so she'll talk through products and show you putting them on and talking through them and stuff, and that's amazing. I kind of feel like that is using that community in the best way possible. So it's not about letting all that go. It's about taking that and using everything that you are and everything that you do and pushing it in a new space. So I thought I would share with you the 5 things I have learned about Avon that I didn't know before I became a representative ambassador. 1, that Avon helped people become financially stable, like the people that I just spoke about. I had absolutely no idea that was such a huge reason for people to join and for people to stick with them for decades. That was really quite inspiring for me. It got me quite emotional actually. 2 is a sense of community. Obviously I imagine there is that element of competition, you know, you want to kind of, you know, oh, I've got more sales than you this month. I imagine that is part of it, but I also feel that there's a really strong sense of community, so that doesn't deter from that. 3, the Avon are able to keep their prices competitive because of the reps. They don't have the same distribution costs as, you know, going into supermarkets and stuff, so they are able to keep that really low, which means the prices are lower for the customers. 4, that the first Avon lady, I have to read her name, Persis Foster Ames Albee. I'm so sorry, I probably said that wrong. Well, she was born in the 1800s, and she was a rep, an Avon lady, before the ladies were given the vote. So before votes for women, there were Avon ladies, which is pretty incredible. And 5, I had absolutely no idea of the causes that Avon support worldwide. I have done my math. I haven't really, I looked up this stat online. $957 million have been raised for causes around the world. £19.8 million have been raised in the UK alone for their cancer care promise, which is just incredible. It's amazing that such a global brand, which is a business, you know, each of the reps are businesses, the Avon, the whole thing, it is a business, that they are giving so much back. And what I find fascinating and so important, and I do get really passionate about this, they have over 6 million reps worldwide, and if there's a cause like Copperfield, so they do support Copperfield, and if there's a cause like getting people to know their bodies, to be able to speak, to have 6 million people going out and sharing that is just so powerful. It's so incredible. So yes, so for me, the causes thing was a huge surprise. I had absolutely no idea until I started working with them, and I was like, hey, Copperfield, this is amazing. I literally was like that. So it's so incredibly important, and I just think what an amazing thing to do when you already have such a large community, to spread that love and to make some really important fundraising happen. I just think it's incredible. Anyway, that's me all, you know, fangirling over Avon. I do choose wisely about who I work with, and for me, that sense of community, the fact that they really help people become financially stable, and the fact that they do so much work for different causes to make life better for so many around the world, that for me is why I had to become an Avon representative ambassador. So if you are an Avon rep and you want to ask some questions, you want any comments or anything like that, then please do comment below. I will try and message you back. If not, there are other ways for us to communicate. I'll be meeting her throughout the year. But that is me as an Avon representative ambassador. I'm getting better at saying it already. I hope this has been insightful for you, even if you are not aware of Avon. I hope it has sparked a little interest in you. Just to know what is behind a brand sometimes is pretty amazing. Dear Carrie, I shall speak to you again next week. Oh, what have I got on? What have I got on? Is there anything fun next week? I don't know. July is bonkers, absolutely bonkers, but there will be content. I shall speak to you very soon, Carrie. I love you. Thanks for watching, everyone. Speak to you later. Bye.